I'm Anthony Smith with HFG Trust, and this is the Chart of the Week video. Hello and welcome to our weekly video. It is CPI day, and the latest reading, which is hot off the presses this morning, came in at a whopping 6.8% for November. That's the fastest annual clip in about 40 years. So the chart you're looking at here is a 5-year history of CPI. So what do you see when you look at this chart? I can tell you what I see, and what that is an erosion of the value of my dollars sitting in cash and low-yielding fixed income assets. For most of our lives, we've been able to at least maintain purchasing power of our dollars by holding investments in high-quality, short to intermediate term bonds. That is absolutely not the case right now. If the prices of goods and services that we buy are increasing at a clip of 5, 6, 7% a year, but we're only getting 1% on our short-term high-quality bonds, then we are losing purchasing power at an alarming rate. Enter inflation bonds, or I-bonds, issued by the United States Treasury. Let me give you a quick overview of what they are, and then a couple examples of where they might make sense in a portfolio. So I-bonds are currently paying an interest rate of 7.12%. Do I have your attention yet? So the interest on these bonds resets every 6 months, and it is made up of two pieces. There is a flat fixed component, which is actually 0%, and that's combined with a variable rate, which is based upon CPI. So the 7.12% currently being paid on these bonds is the variable component related to CPI. I-bonds have no credit risk. There's no default risk, as they are general obligations of the U.S. government. Let's see, you are effectively guaranteed to maintain your purchasing power if what you spend on increases at the same rate as CPI. And the interest on these bonds can be deferred for tax purposes until you redeem the bonds or after 30 years when they mature. So I was taught as a senior at Pasco High many years ago in home economics that if something sounds too good to be true, it is. Simple as that, and this advice has never failed me as far as I know. So what are the catches here? And maybe they're not catches so much as considerations that'll make you realize that it's not too good to be true. So one, each person can only buy $10,000 per year of these bonds. So there's a limit. Two, you can't just call your advisor and move some of your money into these bonds. You do have to set up a separate account with treasurydirect.gov. Three, you can't withdraw your money in the first year. So this is not a cash substitute. And if you do pull the money out in under 5 years or before the 5-year mark, there is a penalty of 3 months worth of interest, which really isn't that bad if you compare it to a CD. And then four, the 7.12% interest rate that is being paid on those bonds now is very enticing. But let's say that inflation falls back down to earth or where it's been over the past several years. And we're looking at a chart here of, it's a 5-year look back. So if we look at where inflation has been, you would be earning kind of 1 to maybe 3% in interest per year if we come back down to where we have been sort of in recent history. So now that you have a better sense of what these bonds are, let's talk about where they might make sense in a portfolio. So before I do that, because it's not a slam dunk. It's not obvious because of the $10,000 limit per person per year. It's for many clients, it's not a needle mover. But here's an example of where it might make sense. Let's say you know someone who is young and starting out and starting to save and invest, and they've worked with their advisor, and their advisor determined that a 90% allocation to stocks makes sense based upon their time horizon. Well, the investor could fill that fixed income sleeve with I-bonds separately outside of the relationship with the financial advisor, and the financial advisor could manage the rest of the portfolio as all stocks going forward. So that's one case. Another one, and this is, let's say that you've saved and invested for your children's education, college education, and your child is becoming a teenager and is sort of 5 years away from going off to school. And you're looking at your stock portfolio and what you've saved, and this is outside of a 529, of course, and you feel pretty good about the past history, but you want to, you're looking at stocks thinking they're a little lofty and want to make sure that money is there in 5 years. So you want to kind of lock in your gains and maybe pull some out, put it into I-bonds so that you know it's there. And the nice thing about that is if the proceeds, so what you invested plus the interest earned, is paid, is used to pay for eligible education expenses, then you will pay no taxes on the interest that you have earned over that period. So that's a little benefit that I didn't mention earlier. Let's see. So coincidentally, a colleague of mine here at HFG Trust published an article about this very subject yesterday, and I'd be happy to send that to you, or just give me a call if you have any questions. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.